r/ask Reddit by Reddify. Your task is to blow a job interview in the first 10 seconds. How do you do it? Who's the aunt in the picture there on your desk? Where'd you get that picture of the ugliest girl I've ever ducked? That's my daughter. She's 6. Hi, nice to meet you. I hear you're a ducking peen to work for. I would hire you. And make him clean up human fesses. Walk in, holy hit. Nice rack. Points for if it's a man. Thanks. You can hang your coat and hat on it. Now sit down. And we'll start the interview. Walk in. Size the interviewers up silently while ignoring their attempt at a handshake and ask, so which of you incompetent assholes am I replacing? If you're really cocky. So which two of you incompetent assholes am I replacing? Extra credit if you start with you're all fired. Get out of my office. First things first. Who here is banging that slut of a receptionist? So first things first. How many of these itches are loose? Extra points if the interviewer is female. You look like you used to be hot. Does your daughter work here? Can we speed this up? I'm going to see my dealer soon. That's easy mode. Hard mode is telling them that your dealer is waiting for you in the reception area. Ask them if they want to go halfsies on an 8-ball. Easy. Subtle way. Cough into your hand right before you shake the interviewer's hand. It also helps if you're sweating a lot. Anything else? You seem like you know how to make the most of extraneous fluids. True story, not mine. First words were "you're young for an hour, lady." It's crazy. When I worked on cars, aged 22, 26, I got no respect from any customers until I grew a beard. I did an experiment and shaved it 1 week. It was back to getting scoffed at and being disrespected because of my age by customers, specifically older men. Grew it back and everything was back to normal. That hit was infuriating. Was a manager at a large hotel and was clean shaven. Zero respect from people when I got called to the desk for issues. Grew a beard and kept it close trimmed. Nothing but yes sir and no sir from guests after that. 1. Interrupt interviewer with audible fart. 2. Silence is golden. 3. Look around and ask, is it just me, or does it smell like as in here? It was you. That's something a Jew would say. Arrive dressed very nicely, yet appropriately. Greet the interviewer very politely, and take a seat. Almost immediately after the interviewer starts speaking, interrupt them abruptly and say, I really want to make a good impression here. So I think I'm gonna pop my shirt off. Then get totally topless. Ignoring any protests. Sounds like a student of the DENNIS system. Then once that falls through, I'm up next looking like a great candidate for the job with my stethoscope, monster condom and Wado hundreds. When waking in, quietly scoff and say under your breath, what a hit office. They could respect your honesty. He's a straight shooter. He's got management written all over him. Bring your mother with you and have her answer all the questions. Never had a mother. But I've had a girl come in with her boyfriend and had him start with what seemed like a nicely prepared speech on why we should hire his girl. I wasn't even really sure how to start with that one. Never had a mother. Open bracket. As they grab your hand for the handshake, scream in agony and pull away fast. Fall to the floor while clutching your hand and making all sorts of painful noises. Begin sobbing, and when they try to see if you're okay, spit at them and hiss. This is a refreshing one. I've read blow them like 150 times now. Ah, like actually blow them? As in or Alex. Funniest talk on Reddit ever. Hit a crack pipe. It helps me relax. I need this to balance out the heroin. Skank 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 skank. Walk in with your peen hanging out. Guaranteed results every time. Blowjob interview. This is how I read the title too. Walks in with a young girl. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'd like to introduce you to my 8-year-old wife, Petunia. It's so wrong that the name Petunia is the perfect name for a child bride. He named her when he bought her. Pre-game some laxatives and hope you get your timing right. Lol, I guess you can pre-game with anything. Anything that makes you hit your pants. I'm here for the hookers and blow. I saw the hooker working at reception. Where's the blow? Randy. The receptionist. Hears this comment and, with a single tear running down his cheek, leaves the building. Or, I'm sorry Randy. As a 32 years old white guy, walk through the door yelling what's up my nigga. Bonus points for the hard R. He wrapped his arm around my neck and wouldn't let me go and said say I n-word like hard R hard R. Grab the candy bowl and leave. Whispers under breath, trick or treat mother ducker. Dude. Thanks for the laugh. I hope you don't need me to take a drug test. You don't do those right. Hits crack pipe and winks. It helps me balance out the heroin. There is a bomb planted in this building right now, and I will detonate it if you don't give me this goddamn job. I think this might actually seal the job. If only temporarily. No. You said how do you blow an interview? This answer assumes you meant blow up an interview. 10 years ago, they asked me if I had any experience with Microsoft Access. I responded that I regularly corresponded with people at all levels of the organization via email, etc. Hung up the phone and realized Access is not Outlook. Didn't get that job. Don't worry. If they were using Access you didn't want to work there anyways. I almost forgot Access exists. Are there really companies that actually use Access in their day-to-day business? I mean in some isolated use cases. Okay fine. But as an important part of their daily businesses? Walking with an SS insignia tattooed to my forehead. Welcome to the Walmart family. Oval Office. Fi. Put on my best white voice and attitude. Sit down. I've been selectively breeding Skittles for strength and superiority for some time. Get a bag. Pick 2 Skittles. And press them together in my fingertips until one breaks. Eat the broken one. The unharmed Skittle continues the gauntlet. I do this until only one remains the victor. Put it in an envelope and mail it to the company with a note telling them to breed it with the other Skittles to make next generation. Look at the camera. Deadpan serious face. You're welcome. Wouldn't the Skittles get weakened by successive victories and really it would never really go anywhere? Edit. Here is a better breeding strategy. Pair up each Skittle in the bag. Fight each pair. Eat all the losers. Pair up all the winners, and repeat until one is left. This way you ensure every Skittle has fought the same amount of battles, so the winner truly is the strongest. Yes they do. Most Skittles can only go 2 rounds. Reese's Pieces rarely last more than 3. M&Ms tend to crumble on the edges, but hold up the best. Peanut M&Ms are totally op. But that's kinda cheating in my opinion. As an aside, I'm a bit concerned that I'm the only one who eats candy that way. I also do this thing with animal crackers that has been described as disturbing. I hope I'm not alone. Because otherwise I think is the sort of thing that might get discussed in Psych Eval somewhere down the line. I just want to double check we are more than 100 meters from any schools. Exactly 6 seconds after they start their intro pitch. Begin making whale calls. Long guffaws like you actually are attempting to contact your brethren across the ocean. Stand and twitch for added effect. This will get you hired immediately if you're auditioning for an improv group. Shoot the interviewer. Elegant in its simplicity. I actually saw this happen. She showed up at the office for the interview in a hoodie and ripped jeans with her boyfriend in tow and asked if he could just hang out in the office while she sent in for her interview. Did not get the job. Had an intern applicant show up dressed appropriately. But she started off the interview by saying, "How long is this going to be? My boyfriend's going to get bored." Cue me looking out the meeting room window to the lobby where a young man with greasy hair and impressively dirty clothing was sitting with his feet up on a side table, checking his cell phone and picking at his teeth. Don't worry. This will be a quick interview. She did not get the job either. For anyone who felt a twinge of suspense about it, or this could have been me, I drove my then girlfriend, now wife, to a couple interviews because we made plans to go out afterwards and all her interviews were in a bigger city than we were from. True story. I had a guy come in. Within 3 seconds of entering my office, while introducing myself, he checked his phone and texted something. I told him the position was not going to be available for him. Total interview time, less than 20 seconds. I was training a new guy on his first day some years ago at a consulting site, and I introduced him to one of the VIPs, and he kind of grunted a hi, then leaned against the wall and texted while I got some info from the VIP about scheduling something. It was super ducking and comfortable, and also shocking because he came off super good in the interview. He was fired before we got back downstairs because I sent some texts of my own once done talking to the VIP. Sounds like you were a bad influence on him with your texting habits. Show up, dress nicely, shake hands with the interviewer, and then without saying a word climb onto their desk. Turn around, undo your belt and remove your slacks. Then with all the dignity and aplomb you can muster, hit on the desk. That's a very full 10 seconds. Not the way he does it. Misread the title and blow the interviewer. That's one way to get the job in under 10 seconds. I know that some people are fast shooters, but that's going Form 0-100 real quick. Have a slightly wet hand at the welcoming handshake and say sorry for the moisture, but I just found a quarter in the toilet down the hall. I had an employee come from the restroom with a blank stare on his face and shake my hand. His hand was soaking wet, so I jerked mine back and he looked me in the eyes and said in a soft pleading voice, "Teach me how to pee." I loved that moron. Whose peen do I have to suck to get a job around here? Oh, that happens in the second round of interviews. It'll either be Steve or David, depending on scheduling. Walk in, shake the interviewer's hand, then promptly start wanking while exchanging pleasantries. I appreciate promptness in an interviewee. Be myself. R/me eye roll. Bring your chin down to protect your neck while continuing to stare into his eyes. Bring up your hands and say, "I don't want no trouble." Flex your traps and core while slightly bending your knees. Here comes the important part. In a low voice, begin to say lower, 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 low, slowly increasing in volume. He should be surprised by now. Begin to sway side to side and loosen all facial muscles and your anal sphincter and your Kegel muscle. By now you should be pretty loud and your opponent will have stepped back and will appear visibly shaken. Begin to piss and hit yourself and let your eyes roll into the back of your head. By now you are chanting the lower, 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 lower at the top of your lungs. He will run away. Everyone within a 1-mile radius will feel a terrifying presence within their soul. Marvel as you ascend into your planar form. Damn, I laughed so hard at this. Good idea. Whips out duck. Doesn't care about the autocorrect. Bonus points if the interview is for a flack. I had one as a restaurant waiter and the manager comes out wearing a really low cut dress with the majority of her amazing breasts on display. Really amazing. She'd ask questions, but the mantra in my head was, "Don't look at her tits. Don't look at her tits." I looked at her tits. Did she notice? Don't look at her tits. Just a side glance. Stop. Did she notice? She's still talking. Stop looking at her tits for duck's sake, even in peripheral. Now you're staring at the ceiling. Look her in the eye. I can see her tits still. Look at her ear. What? Excuse me? Why would I like this job? To get paid. That's all the time. Okay. Thanks. Dude, look at her tits as she walks away. God damn it. They were just amazing. It'd be like getting a surprise nearly topless interview with Christina Hendricks. I was not ready. I called back to find out where I failed in the interview, and she said that I couldn't work the right hours due to me being in school. I hope it wasn't as bad as what was going on in my head. We can tell both when you're looking and trying not to. She knew. Dude, here. It's the deer in the headlights look. Too much forced eye contact and frequent loss of your train of thought. I was about 9 the first time it occurred. Hot 25-year-old upstairs neighbor was gardening with a loose shirt and no bra. Everything on display every time she bent over. I couldn't look, but couldn't not look. I walked away after a 5-minute conversation and realized I didn't remember a word of our conversation. For dudes, every time it's like that. Distracting. Because even if you're not attracted to the person, you're accustomed to shifting your gaze as a normal part of a social interaction. Walk into the interview and immediately pee in the corner, because it's never too soon to start marking your territory in any new area. That one little move has definitely cost me more job opportunities than any other single thing I can think of. Name checks out. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.